Hi, everyone. My name is Francie Ingram, and I'm a teacher librarian at Dr. John Folks Middle School in San Antonio, Texas. And I couldn't be with you today because of the time difference. I couldn't be with you live. So I am going to share this recording with you so that I can show you some of the ways that I'm delivering library services to the students at our school during this time that we are all experiencing all around the world with COVID. And hopefully you can take some of my ideas and make them work for your situation, because I know we're all doing things differently. I wanted to start off by saying that what's happening here at my school is we now have about 600 students here on our campus, and we have a total of 1,800 students in our school. This is a middle school, grades 6 through 8. So a great majority of our students are still at home, but we do again have those students here as well. So for me as the librarian, I have to continue to find ways to reach out to both groups of kids, the kids that are here and the kids that are still learning at home. And of course, supporting the teachers and the curriculum. So I'm going to share with you a few ways that I'm currently doing all of that, and I hope that you can take some of my ideas and make them your own. I know that we're all in very different situations and different types of schools, but hopefully you can take some of the ideas that I have and make them work for you. Okay, so let's get started. The first thing I want to share with you here is how I am getting books to kids well, both sets of kids, but mostly for the kids that are virtual. So when we first began school, all of our kids were virtual, and I created this curbside service for getting books to the kids. And I share this document with the students, and their language arts teachers share it with them. I shared it with them in lots of ways, and depending on whatever learning management system you're using, you could share it through that. That's what I did as well. So the first step for the kids is to, of course, look in the library catalog. So I put a link here to our library catalog. I also provided them with a QR code. And then the second step is for them to fill out this form. And again, they could fill out they could scan the QR code and it'll take them to a form. And so this form, they fill out very quickly. If you're not familiar with using Google Forms, definitely check it out because I use it all the time. So fantastic. And so I asked the kids a couple questions. One, are you a virtual learner or are you an in-person learner? And your first and last name. For us, they have an ID number for the district. That's how I look them up in our library catalog. And then for the kids who are virtual learners, I ask for an email address for one of their parents or guardians. And then right here, they can type in the names of the books that they want and the author. And then they just click submit. And then that form goes to me. And then the next step is, so I receive the form, I get their books ready, and then they watch out for an email from me. So for the students who are virtual, I send the email. The reason why I asked for the parent email is because the parents need to be aware that they're asking for a book, obviously, because they're going to have to bring them over here to pick them up. And so the email goes to the student and the parent, and I just tell them, I have an email ready, the same email that I send to everyone, saying thanks for ordering a book and giving them the directions on how to come to school and pick up those books. For the kids who are coming from home to pick up a book, I simply set up tables outside in front of the school every morning, and I have baskets on the tables, and I have each basket labeled with letters of the alphabet, and they simply look for the basket that has the letter that begins their last name. And then their books are in there, and if they have more than one book, I bind them together with a rubber band, and I have bookmarks that I printed out just on paper, and I put their name at the top, and so their name is sticking out of the top of the book, so they know those are their books and they take them. If they're here in the building, through my library catalog, I can see who their language arts teacher is, so I just deliver the books to that classroom. And then I send the student an email saying your books are in your teacher's room, and they can either wait till they have that class again or they can swing by on their or way out for the day to pick up their books. So I explain that to the students. They watch for email and then, of course, read their books, and then they can bring them back. I have a book return basket out in the front on the table where the kids pick up their books. I have another basket that just says return your books here. And then I have a library return cart inside the building as well for those students. So that's how I've been doing that. And I will say that it's been going very well. I've had a lot of kids every day requesting books. And especially now that we have more students in person, their teachers are encouraging them to do it. And then also, now that we've been in school for many weeks, now things have settled down a little bit, and I have time to get into a Zoom with each of the classes and walk them through the process of how to get a book also. So I'm just constantly reminding them of how they can do it and how they can get a book. So it's been very successful, and like I said, I don't know, how it is at your school, but you can make it work. So I also wanted to share with you, I do a lot of things as far as creating visuals for the kids to constantly be encouraging them to check out books. So I made a poster, and as you can see on the poster, there's QR codes, so the kids can just walk up to it and scan the code to the catalog or to that form to request a book. I printed those posters. I have a couple of them around the school. I also just printed out smaller colored sheets of this to put in the language arts teachers' rooms so they have easy access to it. Okay, so that's awesome. And so let's talk about some other ways to reach out to the kids besides just checking out books, which of course is super important. So these are some of the things that I've done since we have moved to distance learning. Uh, as I said, I join in the Zoom classes with many of the teachers. They've been really generous about giving up some of their time to have me in there and talk instead of them, because for our district, each teacher is only allowed to be live with the students for the first 15 minutes of each class. So it's not very much time at all. So I've been trying to make the most of that when they do invite me to be with their class. And one thing I've been doing, even with middle school, is to do read alouds on Zoom. So you might think that the older students might not enjoy it. They love it. They really love it. And especially the younger kids, the sixth graders, and then we also have some special needs students. They really love it. I read stories to them on Zoom all during the shutdown in the spring, and they absolutely just enjoyed it so much. When I do those Zoom read alouds, especially with the older students, the seventh and eighth graders, what I love to do is first chapter read aloud. So take a book that has a really gripping, really interesting first chapter that draws the reader in, and just read that first chapter to the kids. And I think it's really important too for the kids that are virtual. Obviously, they're not here seeing you, the librarian, every day. So I think it's important to be live with them. And I really realized the other day how important that was, because I was walking outside to deliver a book to some portable buildings that we have out in the back of our school. And there was a little sixth grader walking, and I had my mask on, and he, of course, he did too. And he said to me, "Hey, you're the librarian, aren't you?" And he recognized me from being in the Zoom class with him, which I thought was so amazing, because when he saw me outside, I had my mask on, and I just thought it was really, really cute that he recognized me. And so we started talking, and he was asking me about a couple of books. So you never know who you're going to reach. So really important, I think, for the kids to see you, for you to be a presence on your campus. So do those first chapter read alouds. I guarantee every time I do them, boom, the kids are requesting those books. They want them. So be ready for that. Maybe pick a book that you have multiple copies of because they really do love that. And of course, book talks. We all know. I know that you guys all know about book talks. But again, during this time when everyone is so busy and overwhelmed, I'm keeping everything short. So I have been doing 90-second book talks with the kids. So I record the videos, I send them to their ELA teachers, and also we have a school news broadcast every morning. So I send some to the school news, and they're just short and sweet, just highlighting a great book. And like I said, just keeping it simple. And those book talks really work. Whenever I'm sure you guys already know that when you do those, they just fly off the shelf. Um, I'm doing a virtual book club this year. I've always had my book clubs in person, and I attended a really great workshop this summer about book clubs and about virtual book clubs. And one thing that I really learned that was very valuable. Uh, I've always kind of struggled with my book clubs a little bit because if we're reading a big novel, you always have kids that finish way before the other ones, and it's kind of hard to keep everybody at the same place so that you can actually talk about a book. And one thing I learned through that webinar was a great idea, which was to experiment with just using graphic novels for a while in your book club. They're short, the kids can read them quickly, and then you can have some great conversations. And of course, there's so many great graphic novels right now that lead to very meaningful discussions with the kids. Jerry Craft's uh, New Kid was one that we did in our book club. We have so many great conversations about it. There are just so many. If you ever want any recommendations about some that you could do for your book club, I would be happy to talk to you because I feel really passionate about that. So that's a great way to get your book club going. And I feel like using the graphic novels and using shorter books, you'll be able to get more kids to participate. So I'm super excited about that. I'm just launching mine and I'm really excited about it. When I had the students in person, we used to do flashlight Fridays where I have a set of flashlights, have a set of 30 flashlights, so enough for a whole class. And the kids would come in and we turn all the lights off, and everybody gets, they have to sit by themselves, not together, and everyone gets a flashlight and they get to sit and read. So anything, especially the sixth graders loved it, but I'm telling you, the seventh and eighth graders did too, even though they might sometimes try to act too cool, like they don't want to do it. But your younger kids especially will love that. And I tried it virtually last week with a class. We did it and everybody was in their house. And I just told them they could use the flashlight on their phone if they obviously didn't have an actual flashlight. And we had so much fun. And then what we do at the end is we save some time at the end to discuss and say, hey, what were we reading during that time, during the Flashlight Friday time? Tell me what you were reading. So we had some great discussions around that. Um, the other things I want to share with you are just some little extra things that I've been promoting to try to keep the kids interested. So I like to create um, anything that can excite the kids about books. And these were what I'm getting ready to show you, I just did in Google Slides. So here in Texas, we have what we call the Lone Star books, and these are award-winning books chosen by uh, a group of librarians in Texas every year. And we really promote these books. They're great. And so I just created a little bookshelf here, and then for each one, the students can click on it and it will take them to a YouTube video showing them a little book trailer. And then they can, of course, watch it and decide if they would like to check out that book. Okay. So that's one. And another one I'd like to share with you is this one right here. So I created this one. We're celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month right now here in Texas. The Hispanic culture is a very important part of our city, of our life in our city. And so these are all books, but great books by Latino authors. And so the same thing, simple, just created on Google Slides. They click on the book, and it will take them to a trailer of the book, so they can watch it, hear about it. It's a fun way for them to learn about a book, and then they can, of course, decide if they would like to check it out. Okay, let's see. The literary. Let me show you this. So, I like to do any again anything that we can do to keep the interest going in the library program and what we're doing. So this is also created with Google Forms, and it's a literary book villains contest. So books that um, have famous villains, and they have to be able to name the character of the book of all these villains. So we did this for October because we'll be celebrating Halloween. So I thought it was a good time for that. So the students can participate in this. Their teachers are sharing it with them. I'm sharing it with them. And then I just have some little prizes that I can deliver to them if they're here in person, and if they're curbside, if they're virtual, then I leave it out at the curbside for them to pick up. So again, just something to engage them and to keep them super interested in what we're doing. Let's see. Okay, in the virtual makerspace, I don't know how involved in makerspace you are at this time, but I have a big, beautiful makerspace room. I've been very fortunate over the last couple of years to be able to really build that up. And I'm very sad right now because obviously the kids can't come in and enjoy the makerspace room because they're not going to be allowed in there probably the whole year. There's just too many small parts and pieces and things. So virtual maker spaces are big right now, and there's a lot of great places that you can go to find virtual maker spaces such as this that are already created for you. So you don't have to do all the work. A lot of people have already done the work for us, and I love this one. This is done by a really popular librarian in Texas. She's amazing. Her name is Shannon McClintock, and so the kids can just click on any of these, and it'll take them straight to an activity, a maker space type activity that they can do at home. So these are really awesome, and I will share all these resources with you for sure. And it looks like that one's having trouble loading right now, um, but this is amazing. So I will definitely share that with you because it's just another way for you to keep the kids engaged in what the library has to offer. I've been doing a few little contests. So with my Book Dash service, when I do a Zoom presentation with the kids and I'm telling them about it, and if it's a class that I know hasn't really checked out any books, then I challenge them and I say, the first 3 kids to check out a book today are going to get a prize. And of course, right away, boom, I have tons of kids ordering books. So just always thinking of ways that you can get kids to get a book in their hands. That's the most important thing. And the last thing I'm going to share with you is what I am doing to support the teachers. So, as I said, it's really difficult right now because the teachers don't have a lot of time. Our teachers are only teaching for that first 15 minutes live, and then the rest of the time the students are working on their um, on their assignments. And it's particularly challenging right now because the teachers have students at home and in the classroom, so they're doing both groups at the same time. It's really difficult. So I decided very early on in the summer before we even came back that I knew the teachers were going to be so busy. It's hard to collaborate right now, like teach a lesson together like we used to. So I decided a long time ago that what I was going to do is really focus on what kind of resources I can share with them to help them to ease their burden. And so, and again, I don't know what you use for your catalog system. It doesn't matter if you have this or not, because you can create these in Google Slides, all kinds of ways. You can create a choice board. So I would like to show you some things that I've done. So we have Spanish classes. And so recently I have created these collections for our Spanish teachers. They asked me to help them out with resources because they're studying Spanish countries and famous Spanish people. And so I created these for them. So this one, they wanted some virtual tours of the countries. And let's see. So it shows up as a choice board for the kids, and they simply click on it, and it'll take them right to it. So these are all tours of different places around the world. And so I just curated those resources for them, and they've been using them with their students. Let's go back to the collections. I'll show you some other ones that I did. So I created this one. We have a class that teaches public speaking. So I created a little resource for them. Chemistry, our history class, studying the regions of Texas. So I created a choice board for them. It has some videos and some of them are web pages. So they use these with their students. A lot of them used them as warm-up activities, told the students to choose one, and then they had a writing activity to do, all kinds of things that they could do with that. And of course, I am always supporting the ELA classrooms. So I put together list for them of books that fit the theme that they were teaching. So, and again, this will take the students, this will link the students to the book, gives them a little synopsis of the book, and they can decide. And then I always, for my ELA classes, I include this right here, which is a page that I created to show them how to find great books online too. So if a lot of kids, if they can't get here to get a book, I want to make sure that they know how to access books online. So I created this resource page for them as well. Okay. So that is the main way that I'm supporting teachers, is by curating resources for them like this. And like I said, you can do this on Google Slides. Those are the two main ways that I do it. And just putting things out there. Sometimes I will look ahead in the curriculum and see what they're getting ready to study, and I'll create a collection for them and send it to them and say, hey, you might be able to use this. And 9 times out of 10, they say, oh my gosh, that's amazing, thank you. So they've really been using it. I've even had the math teacher ask me to create a collection for him, and I'm working on that for our algebra teacher right now. I just started working on that one. So that's a great way to support your teachers. And again, by just offering to jump in with their classes, just for a few minutes, that's what I've been doing to talk to the kids about what we have to offer in the library. And then, of course, if the teacher wants me to actually do a lesson with them, I do that as well. So next week, I'm going to start working with our math kiddos and teaching coding lessons. So I'm very excited about that because I did it with them in person all the time last year and the year before. And so now I'm going to get a chance to do that with them virtually. So any way that you can think of to support the teachers, and just know that don't take it personally. A lot of librarians get their feelings hurt. At least here they say, oh, the teachers, they don't want to do anything with me. It's not that they don't want to, they're just overwhelmed. And so for me, my goal is just to think of how I can support them without overwhelming them. Okay. If you have any questions, I will share my email with you guys and share any of these resources with you. You can reach out to me, and I'd be happy to share anything with you. And the folks who are putting on this webinar have my information to share with you. So it was great to be with you, even though I couldn't really be with you live. And I hope you all stay well. Thank you very much.